Hi folks, it's Andy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to today's Kendo rant. I've got fantastic questions for you today. I've got loads of them. But before I jump into them, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that sort of thing. Join the Kendo Show Early Access group. There's a link in the description down below. And most importantly, don't forget to do your Kendo shopping at KendoStar.com. That's my website, of course. It's a fantastic, wonderful, superb, stupendous, brilliant, amazing, all the other words I mean good, Kendo equipment website. It's all stuff that I've designed myself, specifically for the international Kendo community. Not only is it amazing, fantastic, all those good words again, but all of the, basically that is what provides this channel. It's that supports this channel and allows it to exist. So if you do enjoy the content that I put out there, if you do draw any value from it at all, if it does bring you value, that's where you need to be shopping to make sure that it can continue. So yeah, I'm sure you would be doing that anyway. Of course, you wouldn't be watching all these videos for free and not doing that, right? Yeah. Anyway, right, let's get into the question. Okay, first question. Should Sensei be taking videos of practice and then post them on Facebook without student consent first? I was aware he was doing the video at the time, but I felt really uncomfortable about it. But I felt also unable to object as it's a small dojo and I didn't want to come across badly in front of everybody there. I've got several physical issues, but it doesn't stop me trying. I'm abbreviating this, by the way, because you said you wanted to remain anonymous and I don't want to identify you. I do hours of practice on my own to build up muscle memory and I can do that at my own speed at home. But when I go to the dojo, practice is done at a speed that I'm not capable of, but I still go and try and do my best. When I saw the video, I was heartbroken at how bad it was, how bad I was, and I really wish you hadn't posted it. Now I feel like I can't go back. I'm so embarrassed. I took up Kendo to help my physical issues, and because I'm autistic and I wanted to challenge myself to come out of myself a little bit more. If you want to see the video, it's here. Okay, so so to go back over the question quickly, basically the question is it okay for Sensei to take videos of the practice and then post them on the Facebook page? Now I went to the Facebook page. You can't. It's not like it is public. I was able to see it, but I don't actually follow that specific Facebook page as it happens, so it isn't something that came up on my feed as normal. Look, this is a bit of a difficult one. I think your teacher has good intentions with this, and I think there's two things really that I'd sort of go off with it. One is that having videos of the practice, it really does help with dojo publicity, help people when they're thinking about doing Kendo, they can see what a Kendo practice is like before they join. I think that is really important, and I also think that it's super important to actually see video of yourself doing Kendo. Now if it's something you feel a bit uncomfortable with, especially being in the public domain, then the only thing you can do really is talk to your teacher about that and say, look, I know that you're doing it for that, but I feel a little bit uncomfortable. I would appreciate next time if I wasn't really in it as much. But it seems to me that the issue that you've got with it is that you said that when you saw the video, you were heartbroken about how bad you were and you wish you hadn't posted it, and that you don't feel like you can go back because you're embarrassed. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, first of all, because nobody's judging you because of your ability in Kendo at all. So I really would encourage you to go back. I honestly don't think you should be embarrassed about anything. I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about. And I really would encourage you as well, and this is hard, right? But it's really important that you see that video, right? You have to see that video that makes you feel uncomfortable and you feel like, oh, that isn't how I thought it was. That isn't what I want it to be. And so it can help you improve in the right way, all right? And I know it's uncomfortable. It can feel depressing even to see a video of yourself doing Kendo in a way that, in a way that you would like to do better. But it's really important. It's really important for your own development as well. So although it's been difficult for you to cope with this, I actually think that your sensei has done something here that might be a really big stepping stone for you to help you improve more as well. Because if you can take this in the right way, try and use it as a way to drive yourself going forward so that you can improve even more. So yeah, but if it's something you do really feel uncomfortable about, then the only thing you can do, to be honest, is chat with your sensei directly about it. Okay, next one. I find frequently I get the tip of my shinai stuck in my opponent's gi when striking kote. Is this a problem with my technique, or does it happen to everybody? Okay. Okay, I've got my shinai, and I've got my assistant Joseph's here to help me. He's got a pair of Shinobu Wraith kote on, which are very protective and look very smart. He's going to hold them here. Take a bit of a step forward there. So there we go. There we go. He's going to hold them there. Right, I'm going to disappear off camera a little bit while I explain this. But basically, this is a technique issue, all right? This isn't, you know, something that happens to everybody. I mean, it does because it's a technique issue. Basically, after you strike kote, all right, you have to have a snap in your Tenouchi. And it's almost like you strike and then you pull away very slightly after the strike, okay? So it's not hitting and leaving the shinai on the kote like this. This is why you're hooking the kendogi, yeah? Because you're striking, the shinai is staying there, and then it's getting caught in the sleeve of a kendogi, which would be here, of course, he's not wearing one, but hit here, and then it would slide into the kendogi, yeah? You want to strike and lift off after the strike immediately. This way, like this, yeah? So, this way, kote. Kote. Yeah? Let's come forward a bit so it's on camera. There we go. Like that. This way. Kote. After you hit, lift off slightly. Kote. Yeah? If you hit it and leave it on there like that, or like that, and it gets caught in here, this is probably quite painful as well, because it's kind of a bash, thud like that. Okay? It has to be a snap. Like that. Bam. 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 Like that. Yeah? Not dush. Dush like that. Bam. Like that, okay? So it's a technique issue. Thank you. Okay, that's the answer to that, I'm afraid. Okay, next one. In Taikai, I've often seen somebody who has received a hit shake their head no, as if to say, no, that wasn't ippon to the shimpan. What do you think? Is it bad reiho? Could it be worth a hansoku? Is it completely fine, like a weird counter zanshin? Okay, so it depends on the severity of it, right? It depends on the severity, but sometimes, you know, Broadly speaking, it's bad reiho. It's not very nice to do that, yeah? You get hit, the award kote, and you're like, no. You know, broadly speaking, it's bad reiho to do that. However, when you're in the shiai, your emotions are high, and your, you know, adrenaline's going like this, you want to win. And sometimes, you know, a point hits you, and at that specific time, you don't judge that to be ippon, even though the shimpan do, and you think, hey, what? Sort of thing. That's, you know, sometimes it just happens. You kind of go, oh, okay, oh, all right, and you go back and you start again, or you finish. It's best to try and suppress that as much as possible. All right, it's best to try and suppress that as much as possible. I think it's a bit harsh to take it as far as hansoku for doing that, unless you were like turning to the shimpan and like, what the hell was that sort of thing? You know, you don't do that sort of thing. But if you're like, oh, what? Okay, right, and then you go back. Then, you know, it's not great. Suppress it. Try not to do it. But, you know, saying it's a hansoku is a little bit of a step too far, to be honest. And it's not a counter zanshin, to be honest. It's too late for that by the time that's happening. Okay, next one. Can you ever have too much kiai? I assume by this you mean shouting, or how much you can, you know, shout loudly. No, generally not, in terms of it should be as loud as you possibly can make it. However, like in general, I would say no, you can't have too much, except if you're like doing it all the time. You know, if you're like having your interaction with your person, you go, yeah, sort of thing like that. That's probably a little bit too much. Yeah. So it should be like one big one before you really interact. Yeah. Then you get to distance, and then by the time you're here, you shouldn't be thinking about shouting at them until you hit now, okay? Next one. When fighting a Nito Kendoka, I switched to Jodan with great success. I also practice Nakamura Ryu Battodo. I don't know anything about that, so I was told by my sensei, no Jodan until Shodan. Is this a rule or a custom? It's not a rule. It is generally customary, though. There's no rule at which you have to be, you know, you don't have to be a specific grade before you can do Jodan. Personally, I don't think you should start messing around with Jodan until you can make strikes that meet the criteria completely with Yuko Datotsu. Generally, that's when you're around 3rd dan. However, look, I'll be honest with you. If you're not Jodan, and you did Jodan to great success against someone doing Nito, I expect they weren't very good at Nito. Next question. What's your biggest pet peeves about people's behavior at practice? Well, there's quite a few of those I could think of. Bad chakso is one. Wearing the borga, wearing the dogi and hakama. Like there's free videos out there. Showing you how to wear the boga and the dogi and hakama properly. So, you know, it's something that anyone can do no matter what level you are. You don't have to be like Nanadan or Hachidan to wear your borg correctly. So like having the himo all twisted and not caring about that sort of thing, that's a pretty big pet peeve of mine, to be honest. I don't really like... I talked about this in a video the other day. I don't like it when people don't use proper borg bags. That kind of does my head in. You know, they just buy sports bags and don't use a proper borg bag. It's a real petty one, that, to be honest. You know, I couldn't imagine somebody like playing golf or something and not using a golf bag. So I don't know why you do that for Kendo, or like a tennis player, like who was serious about Kendo, like not using a proper racket bag. But anyway, I don't know. I'm probably being a bit too strict on that, so fair enough. Flame me in the comments for it. I do sell borga bags, so I'm kind of biased. I admit that. So yeah, I've got loads of pet peeves, I guess, but I guess it depends on the person. You know, people that say they really want to improve and then they don't seem to try like they want to. That's kind of annoying too, but yeah, it used to annoy me more than it does now because it doesn't bother me really, I guess. Right, next one. I'm a beginner in Kendo, about 8 months in so far. Lately, I've found that my right shoulder is in some pain during suburi, almost as though it's been extended too far. To corroborate this belief, while trying to observe proper Tenouchi, keeping the right hand less involved, my right hand tends to slide down the tsuka. I'm tall enough and my arms are long enough that I have trouble believing that I should shorten the tsuka to accommodate. Is this likely pointing to a problem with the posture angle of the shinai when finishing a strike? Could it be another cause? Right, okay, let me get a shinai again. Oof, okay, here I am. Right, now, look, there's a real trend, and I get it quite a lot. Oh, can I have a shorter tsuka? And then, like, I see people trying to hold the shinai like this. I think that the shorter tsuka thing, the tsuka for most people, especially people around, like, look, I don't know, I can't say in specific centimeters, definitely for everybody, of course. But if you're like my height, and male, so like 170 to 75 centimeters, like 30 to 32 centimeters is about the right length of the tsuka. If you're a shorter, if maybe you're a female, maybe you would maybe benefit from a short one, perhaps. And if you're taller, maybe a longer one might be better. But what I do find is people about my build, and they say, oh, I want a shorter tsuka, and it's because they end up holding the shinai like this, and it's because I find that they're doing their swing wrong. When they're swinging the shinai, they're trying to keep the shoulders straight like this, okay? And in my opinion, it's wrong to have your shoulders square when you do men strike, all right? Even in kamae, yeah, my right shoulder is slightly in front of my left one. If I stand completely side on, my hands are in the middle, ooh. My hands are in the middle, yeah, like this. I'm still stood square onto my opponent. My hips are square, but my right shoulder is slightly in front. You see that? It's not like this though, yeah. It's slightly in front. And then when I swing the shinai and squeeze with both hands for Tenouchi, yeah, my left hand is about the height of my sternum. Depends on the height of the person, of course, yeah. And my arms are fully outstretched. Man, this way, yeah? But my right shoulder is slightly in front of the left one, okay? So what you're probably trying to do is you're probably trying to keep your right shoulder back like this and trying to stretch it when it won't stretch by pushing it back and also trying to push it forward at the same time, kind of like this, and that will hurt your shoulder, definitely. It won't result in the correct cutting. You'll end up cutting something like this. Yeah, you won't be stretching properly. You'll be hitting people in the mengane. And you won't have crisp, sharp strikes with sae, okay? So don't be over zealous of keeping your back, your sort of shoulders straight. They shouldn't be perfectly straight like that. Your hips should be pretty much straight on. Your feet pointing directly forward. But your right shoulder is slightly in front of the left one, slightly. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Okay, next one. Is the 40 centimeters menhimo length the recommended or maximum length? How short is too short for the menhimo? It has to be within 40 centimeters, and it's actually not a strict rule. It's like it's a guidance. It's guidelines. They can't disqualify you for a shiai. All they can do is ask you to use shorter ones next time. They're not allowed to, they're not supposed to cut them and stuff like that. They can't stop you participating in the shiai. The actual rules say that. Not the rules itself. The Teriki is like a additional notes. Actually say that they in the case that somebody's menhimo too long, you have to advise them to use short ones in the future. So look, it should be less than 40 centimeters. It shouldn't be like 20 centimeters, though. That looks kind of stupid if it's too short. So yeah, I usually have them around 30-ish. Is what I like to have them at. I don't like them too long. I'm not a super tall person either, so I don't need to have them that long for it to have a good balance. So I prefer to have them around 30-ish, something like that. Next one. Hello, Andy. We have a small dojo with members ranging from 7 years old up to their 50s outside of Japan. What I noticed is mostly kendokas that train in Japan since a young age have a more intense fighting spirit in their keiko, jigeko, and shiai. Even those who stop training for 10 or 20 years and come back to the dojo, they still seem to retain and show the fighting spirit from when they were younger. Now, my question is how do you foster or cultivate or inspire new students and older members to have more fighting spirit in their keiko, especially dojos outside of Japan? This is a bit of a difficult one because the answer's not a nice answer. It's not like, oh, let's just try harder, and try and shout louder. You have to do a lot more keiko, a lot more tough, hard keiko. You've got to remember that people that start kendo in Japan as kids, especially people that are like now adults, it's a bit different for kids now in some places because some dojos are a little bit softer than than they used to be. But people that are like around in their sort of 30s, upwards, sort of 30s, 40s, 50s, that started kendo in Japan as kids. When they were kids, kendo wasn't supposed to be like a fun, enjoyable activity. It was part of their education, and it was hard and it was ruthless. And they were expected to cry in the dojo. If it's kind of a mentality. If they said it was fun, then they got in trouble for not taking it seriously. And it's that kind of, the amount of kakari-geiko, lots of kirikaishi, the very, very difficult, tough practice that they went through, that I think is what helps to foster that fighting spirit you're talking about. I don't really know exactly how you completely port that over to a non-Japanese dojo yet without everybody just quitting and not coming back. But I think through hard training, try to make it, as long as people understand their goal and the purpose for it, and that it's not just punishment, or not just because you're mean or something. If you train hard together, I'm sure that will start to come. I'm sure it will. So yeah, the answer is kakari-geiko. Next one. With the new selection of Domune and Dodai, what is your personal favorite combination? Well, I'd have to give you a different answer for that every week because it seems to change. I'm a real butterfly with stuff like that. And speaking of butterflies, the Cho Kazari is one of my favorite. I've got a couple of do with that. Actually, as it is, I really like. There's a lot of do that I really like. I really like the. I've got the. Is it the Noiro Icho? It's like the leaves in it. Bamboo do. That's a really, really beautiful do. I really like that. I really like the Kiji do, of course, the yellow Kiji do. I've got one of those that I treasure very much. I like the imitation Same. I've got one of those with the with the Cho Kazari as well. I like that door quite a lot too. So there's loads. You have to go and check them out. Have a look. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to one of the Borga pages on KendoStar. Click the Mune options and the door options, and you can see all the different ones that we've got. If you go to one of the made to order Borg sets, something like the Shinobu or the Vanguard Praetor, you can see all the options. We've got more options now. I'm pretty sure we've got the most options of any other Kendo shop now. It was something like, we worked out the other day, it's like something like 3,000 different combinations you can get just for the door. It's like crazy. We can get loads of different options. So go and check them out if you've not seen them. Okay, last one. I love your show and KendoStar Borga. Thank you. I've been practicing for over 5 years now, and as I progress, it seems almost impossible to score a straight men ippon without some sort of secondary hit or prior feint. Am I regressing, or is that what higher level Kendo is? Okay, so you're about 5 years in, and you're finding that you can't just score from your Jodan, your Tobikomi men. You're finding you're having to do like a strike before, so maybe like kote then men, or some kind of feint and then men. It's quite normal for somebody at your level of progression, all right? I wouldn't say it's what advanced Kendo is, but I think it's kind of a circle that you go to and from. You start learning just the basic waza, kihon waza, and what you're starting to understand now, if you're like 5 years in, it depends what sort of, it depends what level you're at, but if you're like second and third dan, something like that, then you're starting now to understand different ways of creating opportunities. So sometimes when you make a strike here, it opens up a chance here. Or if you apply pressure by showing a feint to one area, you're able to attack another area. And that is the very basis. Yeah, it's the basics of deeper understanding of Kendo, I think, where you start to be able to create those opportunities through you start off doing it through these sort of physical movements, whether it's feint, whether it's harai, whether it's maki or osae, to get a reaction out of them. Then it starts to become more and more, as you get more experience, you start to be able to do it with your presence in a way, and the way you interact with your opponent, how it affects them, that starts to create opportunities in itself too. So don't worry about it too much. You'll start to you'll come over the top of that hill, and you'll find there's an even bigger hill behind it, and you're in a whole mountain range. Okay, so I don't think it's something too much to worry about, but I definitely think it's something that will actually benefit you going forward. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like answered in the next video. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all the social stuff. Join the Kendo Show Early Access Group. There's a link in the description down below. That's a great place to post your questions. Lots of the questions from today came from there. It's a great community of Kendoka from all around the world. So you don't just get my opinion on this. They all chip in on it too. So you get a great sort of forum, really, of feedback. And finally, don't forget as well, of course, to shop at KendoStar.com. Because that's what makes it all happen, makes the magic happen, not just here on YouTube, but in your dojo as well when you're wearing our fantastic equipment. Thanks a lot for watching today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.